All right. Let's see. Okay, welcome. Okay, good. Okay. Welcome to the third edition of the Hot Seat. On this week's edition, we're going to be talking about the Olympics. And with me, and this is Cam Perry, and with me we got Paulo, and we also got
Hey,
Brandon. So I want you guys to introduce yourselves if people haven't been watching the last couple of weeks.
so I'm Paulo, attend UC Davis, big basketball fan. Yeah.
I'm Brandon. Same as Paolo and Cam here. I'm a huge basketball fan, and I'm also a football fan. And while I'm on that, I want to say happy birthday to the GOAT, Tom Brady.
Happy birthday to him.
Yeah, definitely. So our first topic we're going to talk about today is about the Olympic opening ceremony. This is always a cool topic because every year the host country, when the Olympics comes around, usually has a ceremony that showcases their culture. So I'm going to go first with Brandon on what he thinks about the ceremony and also what he hopes to expect when he watches it.
All right. Well, I think the Olympic ceremony is probably one of the most exciting events in itself. It's one of the most exciting, yeah, just in terms of the Olympics, it's one of the most exciting things that happens. And in terms of world events, it's pretty crazy. I know they get a lot of viewers and high ratings every time it's on, and they always seem every year to put on a show. There's always new technology. They're always doing something crazy with it, and I believe this year the USA is teamed up. I think Ralph Lauren or something, and I believe that I was reading up earlier that the jackets or the blazers that they're going to be wearing, it's going to have like a Ralph Lauren logo, and then it's going to say USA, and then on the back it's going to have a big USA logo, and then I think it's going to have the ability to like light up in neon or something like that. So I mean, they're always doing something crazy, so I expect a lot, and they'll probably give it to it. So
Okay, I'm going to go with you, Paulo. I mean, what is your opinion on the opening ceremony?
Um, well, I mean, the opening ceremony, obviously, I feel like if you watch the Olympics, you should always just tune in to, see that in itself. And I mean, it's always an exciting thing to see, as you were saying at one point, the host country's culture. And every opening ceremony has always had some fantastic displays of like the host country's culture. Like the most memorable one for me actually was the 2012 was that the 2012 or 2008 Olympics, the one in China.
That's 2008.
2008.
Yeah, that was a really good opening ceremony. I kind of gripped my attention, and you could see like the whole culture of China just kind of packed into that little kind of preview in the opening ceremony. And I think that's essential because the Olympics are a time for all the countries to come together. And yeah.
Yeah, the reason why I like the opening ceremony is like I said before about the culture thing, but I like this one particularly because Brazil is a country that has been under heavy scrutiny because of all the stuff with the Zika virus and the heavy crime rate that they got in that country. And I love samba dancing. Like people gonna be surprised to hear me say that because I took a samba class in college,
Oh wow.
and people really don't know that, and it was a game changer. It was a life changing event for me because like you don't when you look at me, you don't think a samba dancer, and like I feel like I learned something else that I think everybody should eventually do. They should eventually uh, do some type of dancing from a different culture because you just learn so much and you get to talk to different people from that culture who maybe wouldn't have talked to you or maybe had a conversation with because you don't have anything in common with their culture. So it's a cool experience, and I expect to see that in the opening ceremony. A lot of that, and also people are talking about that they're going to be the women, in Brazil. People they're heavily famous for that. The beautiful women they got there, and they're probably going to be half naked I mean, on the ceremony. I mean, NBC may not show it because it's going to be like an hour delay or something like that, and I think that's stupid. Like, why would you delay the broadcast an hour to the American people because, for some regulatory reason? I'm not sure what the reason is. They did the same thing last Olympics and probably the one before that. And I mean, especially with social media out there nowadays, you be seeing delayed. You think that it's live, and then you see a tweet that someone posted that's at the Olympics. They'd be like, "Oh wow, this is incredible," and you're like, "Wow, this didn't happen yet. Like, what's the deal?" Like, it kind of throws you off because you're like, you see so much different stuff that that you haven't already seen on the TV screen.
I agree with all of those. So we should be in store for something pretty amazing, I hope.
And who do you think? Lastly, before we move to another next topic, who do you think is going to light the cauldron?
No, I have no idea.
What about you, Brandon? Do you have any guesses? Because I mean, I'm sure it's probably a well kept secret, but I have an idea who I think is going to be. I think it's going to be Pele because he's like a legend in Brazil. Like like that'd be make the most sense. Like
I could see that. I could see that. I mean, probably a better guess than I, because I mean, they usually do a pretty good job with it, and each year it seems like each home city likes to put on a bigger show than the one before, or home country, my mistake, than the one before. So they can surprise us with anybody.
Okay, so the next topic we're going to talk about is someone that I really haven't been watching until recently because, like I said, I really don't watch gymnastics except during the Olympics, and I'm sure most Americans are the same way. But the next topic is Simone Biles going to be the next Gabby Douglas? Because we know that Gabby Douglas turned into a superstar after she won the gold medal last Olympics. And before that, you had Michael Phelps, who was a superstar after he won all his gold medals. So do you guys think that Simone Biles will be that next star for the U.S.?
Well, definitely, especially if she wins the gold medal. I mean, everybody pretty much, like draws the attention towards the gold medal winners in the U.S. and like, everybody likes to idolize them because they've achieved something. I mean, a lot of the Olympics Olympians who've won gold medals, they always end up popping in commercials for like, Subway or fitness commercials and things like that. I mean, it's definitely like a high possibility if she wins the gold medal. I mean, if she doesn't take that, which I feel like the chances are pretty slim that she doesn't have one. I mean, if she doesn't have one, then she's probably not going to get the same kind of recognition.
I think it's a done deal. She's going to get at least 3 gold medals. But I think what I'm not sure about is I'm not sure if she's going to win 5 gold medals because that's what people are saying she could potentially win. Because like I said, there's 3 that she'll definitely win, which is the all around, the team, and the vault, and also the what's the other one? I can't remember. It'll come to me in a second. But do you know what the other one is? I'm trying to think of because I know there's 4 that I'm pretty sure that she has a great chance to win. I think Beam is the only one that I don't think that she will win. But
there's
I can't think of it right now.
She's part of uneven bars, beam, vault, team, floor exercise, and individual.
Okay, floor exercise. That's what I was thinking. So yeah, floor exercise all around and floor exercise all around and team. Those are the 3 that I know she'll win. I think she'll win beam, but vault is the one that I'm not sure about. Because he has the potential to win 6 medals, but I think she's only going to win 4, maybe 5, because she didn't win. Because I know the reason why I'm saying that is because I watched some footage about her in last year. The only one that she hasn't won is vault. So and she's won competitions for 3 straight years. She hasn't lost any competitions. She just couldn't She just didn't qualify for I'm pretty sure vault last year. but every meet that she's done, she definitely won. So that's incredible. She's won 3 straight years of competitions. I was telling Brandon about this before the show started. I was like, she is potentially the greatest gymnastics uh, person ever. I'm not sure if you've been following gymnastics, Paulo, but yeah, I mean, she's up there with the greats. That's according to all our coaches.
Wow.
It
Well,
just I don't know why. It's just like something that I always love watching. Like even as far back as '96 when the Olympics were in the United States. It's just a fun thing for me to watch. Like I'm not sure if you guys are gonna be watching it, but I know I'm gonna be watching it. So it's gonna be a fun experience for everyone that definitely doesn't watch it. Outside of the Olympics.
I'm looking at the eye on that because I don't keep up with the gymnastics portion too often. But I mean, now that you say that, I mean, might as well witness some history.
Yeah, yeah. I at least catch her finals at least. Like maybe not watch her stuff before that, but at least catch the finals. Like I said, you want we got the best gymnastics team in the world, and also watch her all around event. I'd watch those two for sure. Everything else, you may catch it, if they re-air it or something, because I'm sure NBC is gonna play it over and over because they got coverage on like several different channels. I'm not sure what all the channels they have, but it's gonna be everywhere. So I'm gonna be watching it because like I said, like I pretty much aside time every year to watch the Olympics, and I'm sure all of us are gonna be watching the Olympic basketball, especially the men's basketball. I don't know if you guys are gonna be watching the women's, but we're gonna talk about that in just a second. So the next topic we're gonna talk about is the men's and women's national basketball team. First, we're gonna talk about the women's because that is I think more interesting than probably the men's topic because do you think that it's a problem that the women's national team as far as basketball is concerned doesn't have a face that is like their star person that they want to promote for the Olympics?
I don't see it as a problem because I mean maybe the women's NBA because it's constructed of a bunch of women's NBA players and maybe the league is not as decorated as say the NBA, but in terms of that, I don't think they feel that they need one. I mean, you can choose plenty. You have, I mean, you have a good amount of kids over the last few years from UConn's roster on there. There's plenty of people you could put on there. You could put on Maya Moore. There's Brittany Grimer. I mean, you could put even the coach Gino Auriemma as the face.
Yeah.
I know he's not playing, but I mean, I mean, in terms of I guess a marketing pitch for the Olympics, maybe they're struggling to find a face. But in terms of from the women's team themselves, their standpoint, I don't even. I mean, they probably have plenty of vocal leaders on the team and people who lead by example, but I don't even think that even phases them. I'm reading here that they've won 5 consecutive gold medals, and they've won actually 41 straight games. That's incredible because we always talk about the men's and how dominating they are, but the women don't get any credit. And listen to this. They've won 41 straight games, and on each of those games, their average point differential is by 30 points.
Yeah.
So they're not just beating teams; they're absolutely dominating them, just like the men are. So I think they need to get more credit, than they do. And I mean, it's just crazy to even see a stat like that. I mean, we see it so many times with the men. We hear all the stats of the men, but I'm just surprised that I don't, because I just read this. I didn't even hear about that. I never hear about that. So that's kind of disappointing for the women for not to be noticed by that, even though it's actually there. So I think they're incredible.
And what about you? What about you, Paulo?
Well, I don't think that having one star for them from is a bad thing, not having that. But it definitely does hurt the kind of publicity that they can get because as Brandon was saying, we don't really hear about the women's basketball team. Like no matter how dominant they are, like they're just not mentioned in the news and things like that. And maybe it is because they don't have uh, a recognized face that they can all line up behind. But in terms of their performance or in terms of how good they're going to be in the Olympics, I don't think having one superstar that they can back is going to be a problem. Because I mean, you heard the stats from Brandon; they're going to dominate again. I don't think there's going to be an issue with how they're going to play without a recognized superstar, so to speak. Even though there are a lot of stars on the roster.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I don't know about you, but the average basketball fan, knows these three names: Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, and damn, I can't even think of the Brennan. Brennan, you got the last person I'm trying to think of off the top of my head.
Are we talking about Maya?
No, not Maya Moore. She's been in the league for a while.
We're not talking about. See, this is my fault. We're talking about this, and I can't even name players off. Are we talking about what's your name? No, sorry. Who is it? Hold up.
Are you thinking about a current player or someone who's
No, it's a player that's been around that is like one of the WNBA stars, but I can't think of it right now for some reason. Like I know it's gonna come to me right after we finish the show, but it's just bothering me because like I said, these are the people that I know when I think WNBA that pretty much are like the pallbearers of the league. I mean, because you got players now like Maya Moore, you got Brittany Griner, which the reason why I don't think she is ever going to be a star as far as international plays because last year she got bad publicity because of her with her ex-wife or whatever, and she got bad press about that. When a number of people were talking about her about Father's Day, they were talking about Happy Father's Day to Brittany Griner, and she was upset about that because people were talking about her, and I was like, that's messed up, but.
I might have some names for you. It's got to be one of these. We have Simone Augustus. I can't believe I forgot. Tina Charles, Tamika Catchings.
Tamika Catchings, that's who it was. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's who it was. I knew Tina Charles too, but Tamika Catchings is the player I was
That's
thinking.
the one, yeah.
And it's irritating me because like people talk about her all the time, but I couldn't think of her. I don't know why. But yeah, those three: Tamika Catchings, Sue Bird, and the last player I just said, but yeah, those that tells you how it's just me not getting a brain fart right there. That tells you that the WNBA needs work as far as branding their league. Diana Taurasi, yeah. So that tells you enough right there. Like NBA, we can name the stars right off the top of our heads. Like WNBA, you know who they are, but
you got to double take. And that sucks.
Yeah, I was telling someone the other day that they were like they cover the WNBA, they cover the Dallas team out, the Dallas Wings, and I'm telling them I was like, the reason why I've tried to watch the WNBA, I really have. Like I'm gonna watch the women's. The only time I watch women's basketball is really for the Olympics. That's about it. But I tried watching WNBA. I tried watching the women's college basketball, and it's just too slow paced for me. And with the WNBA, I think the problem is not really the pace, but it's just like the marketing. Like they don't know how to market their own league, and the league doesn't even respect itself because they suspending their own players for standing up for what they believe in, which I think is stupid. Because if you have a predominantly black league, whether that's women's or a men's league, then you shouldn't be suspending people before that very issue that you should be more supportive than any other league. The same thing I feel with the NFL. If the NFL tries something like that, I feel like you can't be doing that type of stuff for those type of leagues. It'd be different if it was like soccer or baseball or the NHL because those aren't predominantly black leagues. And, most parents, especially black parents, don't nowadays want their kids in those leagues, which I feel like those leagues are the ones you should be getting into because there's less contact than the NFL, which are more and more parents are going against and leading their kids to play basketball, especially with these contracts that are being offered this past offseason.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say I'm in the same boat as you to an extent. I do believe that it needs to get marketed more. I do believe I agree also that I think it is slow paced. You know, they also, especially like women's college basketball in general, their biggest problem probably in terms of pace has always probably been the shot clock. But I mean, in terms, I have watched women's college basketball, not a lot of it, but and maybe I'm biased on my side because I go to UConn. So I mean, all it's usually successful on our side. But I mean, they do need to do a better job. But I know I do. Women's NBA is usually not my first choice, but if it's on TV, I'll watch it for a little bit because I do appreciate their games. I think a big part of the difference in the NBA and the women's NBA is yeah, the marketing is a big part, but I think the players just how their abilities, market themselves. And when we watch the NBA, we want to see high flying dunks and stuff like that. And I believe it's only Brittany Griner or maybe a few other athletes in the women's NBA that have the ability to dunk. And it's not like as if they're flying through the lane over three defenders. But I do appreciate the games in the players' games in the women's NBA because I play basketball a lot and I'm short, and I can't fly like NBA players do. So my game is more low to the ground, and I see a lot of women's NBA players like that, and it takes a lot more craftiness, a little skill to it. So I appreciate it on that aspect of it.
Yeah, I just feel like they need a star, and like I said, Brittany Griner, I guess, could be that star player if they marketed it well. But I feel like they don't have a player like a Hope Solo for the women's national team that like it was last Olympics, where they can market towards and is also a likable person. Because Brittany Griner, like I said, she has a lot of baggage. She's probably a nice woman, but she's not the type of person that the corporations and the media want to run behind. So we're going to get to our next topic, and that is the men's national team. And they've been dominating a lot of teams. As of late, they dominated the Nigeria recently in the exhibition match. And I want your take on what you think that the men's national team is going to do in the Olympics, and if there's any team out there that could dethrone them and they win the gold medal this year.
I would say that in terms of what I expect, I expect them to walk through everybody as they have. I mean, people are like, oh, they don't have, the players they've had in the past. It is a little weird to not see Kobe out there for, how long we've been watching him. With Dwayne Wade, LeBron, even Steph, who's the younger of that group, but he is nursing some injuries. But even with some of those guys out, and there's plenty more I haven't named, pretty much every name on that roster is well, everybody knows all the names, but every player is pretty much stacked, and I don't expect any less. I mean, even when I know it's just exhibition, but even when they had a bad game, I think it was last Friday, I believe, and they played Venezuela, where they only had 80 points. I mean, they held them to 45 points.
Yeah.
So even on a bad day, I mean, the other team can't even get to 50. 45 points is like average in an NBA half, let alone a whole game. So I mean, the obvious team that we can see out there is probably Spain. I mean, Argentina's always out there, but they dominated Argentina the first game, and that was before USA had any chemistry. Most of those guys in Argentina usually play with all of each other all the time. If these guys play with each other in the All-Star game, maybe the NBA, but it's usually against each other unless they're on the same team. But I mean, so the team I would say is probably Spain, and usually the way Spain usually holds it close is because they usually have those two big pillars in the middle with the Gasol brothers, and they also have Ibaka. But I believe Marc Gasol has drawn his name out of the Olympics. Yeah. So that's just one less. And last time when they played, I mean, Ibaka is now more of a threat, I guess, on the outside with his three-point shot.
He's not even playing either.
Oh, he's not even playing. So
I heard he withdrew.
He was. What about Powell? Is he playing?
No, Powell's playing. They still got a lot of weapons down there. I mean,
they do. I will give them their credit. They always have terrific guard play out of Spain.
Because they got Milicic is taking Ibaka's place, because they really don't need both of them. Like, I think Milicic is probably a better option for them internationally. Like, they got a nice roster. I think it's going to be a close matchup, but who I think honestly is going to meet the U.S. and actually have a chance to really beat them. Maybe not beat them, but have a real good shot that you haven't mentioned. France.
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely France.
They
Okay.
they
I can do
they
that.
they got probably the arguably the best, well-rounded team of any team not named the Team USA. Like they got shooters, they got bigs, they got everything you need, and they can all pass the ball.
Oh,
So
that's
I'd
true.
watch out for France. And another team I'd watch out for is Lithuania. That's another team that the U.S. got to watch out for because they got real skilled big men.
Yeah, Jonas Valanciunas is getting better every year, and I mean, I think he's gonna take a major step next season for the NBA, and we're gonna see a preview of that big step he's gonna take in the Olympics for sure. I mean, he's working that jump shot's looking nice. His post moves are getting better. I mean, what else can we say? I mean, Lithuania sounds like a strong option, but definitely France is probably going to be the guaranteed number two.
Oh yeah, Rudy Gobert is a beast. Like
Yeah,
I actually been real high on him even in the NBA. Like I think he's one of the best young, talented bigs in our league
definitely.
because if he didn't get injured this past season, I think he probably would have been up there with the best and maybe contended for most improved player
Great.
because
Even
he's a
defensive player.
yeah, and because you got Rudy Gobert, you got Tony Parker, you got Boris Diaw. I mean, those three alone.
How about Batum? Batum
Yeah,
Yeah,
playing?
don't
Nicholas
forget
Batum.
about Nick
Yeah,
Batum.
him too.
Love him.
Yeah,
Batum does everything.
yeah. So
Everything.
Yes.
you got a nice little starting nice four players right there, and this I don't even know who's the fifth player that they have that's gonna be starting for them, but I know they got a nice
They
roster.
probably have, and they probably have a lot of young talent coming off that bench too.
Yeah,
So
Yeah, but I think they have a was it the last the rookie last year, Joffrey Laverne for the Nuggets.
okay,
I think they have him.
that was the
And
one out of was that the one out of Michigan or no?
I can't remember the college. All I know is he's a pretty skilled center.
Oh, never mind. It's a center. I think it was a small forward or something. I'm not sure exactly. Never mind. Wrong player.
That's all right.
but they're stacked. Like I think they got the most stacked roster, not named Team USA. Like I really been high on France. I forgot that they had all the players they had until I started looking up a couple days ago, and I was like, wow, like I knew France was good, and they. I think the reason why I wasn't high on them is because I'm pretty sure they didn't play in the last Olympics or the one before that, so they didn't compete in the 2008 or the 2012 Olympics. That's probably why I forgot about Spain because I was like, man, like I knew about Lithuania, I knew about Spain, but I was like France, like okay, because they're like ranked third in the FIBA world rankings.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I
so
mean, if I mean, yeah, like you said, I had completely forgot about France, which is dumb of me. I should have known that, especially with well, I mean, like we were saying before, like Paolo said before, like a guy like Nicholas Batum who could pretty much do anything, on the court. And those names that you rolled out, I mean, those are really talented players, especially in the way the game is in the Olympics, how it's played. So like you said, I think they're going to flourish. They're probably better off than Spain now, with
yeah,
Spain having all their Gasols, you know.
cause I think the problem with Spain is I don't think they can keep up with the USA. Well, I think France can. I think if France can keep it, in the 80s or 90s, I think they have a real good shot to beat them, especially if they can keep it within single digits going into the fourth, because I feel like that's the type of team that really can make that push, and the U.S. could, destroy their opponents early on and get cocky, and then think they can just roll through the whole competition. Because just like the previous few international competitions, Spain has gave U.S. a tough time. Like U.S. has usually rolled through, the early legs before elimination, and then once they get into those elimination rounds, when they face Spain in the finals, it's never an easy, matchup for them. So I feel like France and Spain will be their two toughest matchups. Maybe throw in Lithuania in there. I don't think Argentina is going to be a threat at all. They didn't really look that impressive to me because I just don't think they can score enough. Like they have some nice players. They have Manu is phenomenal in international play. Like he's like a wizard on the floor. Like I forget how skilled of a passer he is. Being a Spurs fan, I forget that he can do all the things he can do because I feel like international, you gotta have players that can pass the ball and players that can shoot the three ball. Because if you can do both those things, then you'll be very successful because it's a different game than it is in the NBA.
Mm. Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, the rules are slightly different. They're not entirely different, but spacing on the court is different. Every and like especially the level of competition is extremely different. All these players in the international scene they pass a little. They work on their passing a lot more, and I feel like there are definitely like specialized players, but I feel like the U.S. has come out with more specialized players, like players who specialize in like certain talents. But I mean, the big thing out of U.S. right now is defense. The team we roster right now in the U.S. is long and lengthy, and they're all good at defense. We can all say that no one on that team is a weak defender. I mean, I feel like the weakest defender on that team might just be DeMar DeRozan, and that's not even weak at all. He's a great defender.
Oh, I agree with you. Honestly, I mean, DeRozan, yeah, maybe DeRozan, but you could also even say Boogie Cousins because I don't think he's considered a great
Yeah.
defender either. But I feel like like I said, he flourishes in the international game more than he would in the NBA. Like he's a great NBA player, but I feel like his game is specifically built for international play because he can shoot the three ball, he can go inside, he can, with his length, he can cause problems. So I definitely feel like the U.S. has a tough roster, but it'll be interesting to see because, like I said, it's a long tournament, and I think that it's going to be just as exciting for me as the next sport we're going to be talking about because this is my favorite. Like I actually participated in this in high school, and that's track and field because I love Usain Bolt, and I don't know about you guys, but I love seeing his dominance over the last couple Olympics. And do you guys think that he will continue his dominance in Rio?
Yep. I don't think there's a doubt about that. I mean, what he's shown in the past couple years has been insane to really think about. And I mean, an athlete like that can only maintain his momentum. He's doing a lot. He's putting in all the work, and I feel like he will continue that dominance. Maybe someone this year can close the gap a little bit, but I still think he's coming out on top.
Agreed. He's just like Paolo said. I mean, I'm not sure what the cap on usually when players retire. I think he's about 29 years old. Um, but yeah, what age people retire from track and field? But I mean, he has shown no signs of stopping, and I mean, I don't think you can really think that he will slow down. I mean, what was funny was I was reading something earlier today, and people were talking about how fast they think he can run a mile. And some people were even estimating he could probably get under 4 minutes, about like 3 minutes 50 seconds or so. And then other people were saying this and then that, and then they asked his agent, and he's like, right now he's just focusing on the Olympics right now because he's been training since October. And they're like, well, how fast do you think he can do it? They were like, I don't know because he's told me himself he's never personally ran a mile before. You know, uh, the sprints that they do are incredible in themselves and how fast he has to be, but it is a different beast altogether when it comes to a mile where more of endurance comes into a factor. And he just came out and said like my clients never run a mile before. He's told me himself. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, so I actually, since this is the one Olympic sport where I actually follow pretty closely, I actually feel that this will be the one chance and the one time that Usain Bolt is not going to win at the 100-meter dash this year. And I want you to stay with me for a second. So, who do you guys know who is the person who won the 100-meter dash before him in 2004?
I don't.
Okay, he's a fellow American, Justin Gatlin.
Okay, I've heard the name. All right.
Okay, so let me bring it all the way back so you guys know why I think this. So in 2008, he didn't play in the Olympics because he was banned for doping. So he missed whole 2008, and that's what opened the door for Usain Bolt to win in 2008. And then 2012, he got the bronze medal in the 100 behind, Bolt and some other guy. That's not really even important. So in 2015, he actually almost beat Bolt in the 100, if I believe. And I feel like this year is going to be the year where he beats him, because Gatlin always runs a better 50 than him. But that last 50, for some reason, Bolt has probably the best stride of anybody that is sprinting in the Olympics. Like, for some reason, like, he'll have a bad start, but then he'll just boom, he'll just go. Like, and I don't understand then how he keeps winning, because back in 2012, like, I thought he was gonna lose, because I don't know if you saw the race, but he was losing the race at first, and then he just came out of nowhere and just beat everybody by a length. And it's incredible, like, his run, because most people in 2012 thought he was done. Like, they didn't think he was gonna win again. And even before this Olympics, people were saying that he's hurt. Okay, he's not gonna be able to win anymore, and he's done. Because sprinters usually don't have that long of a span where they're great. Like, I mean, like, we think about it. Like, how many sprinters have won gold medal in the same competition 3 straight Olympics? That's a 12-year run right there.
I mean, you're right. That's pretty insane. I mean, what was the runner's name that you had said before? Gatlin?
Justin Gatlin, yeah.
Justin Gatlin.
He's a fellow American.
So, I mean, I'm not as avid as watching the racing, especially, compared to you, since you've been following it for such a while. But, I mean, I think it's a pretty interesting argument that you make there. And, like, one thing I'm going to take from what you said is, he usually doesn't start well. And, and then he usually picks up because his stride is amazing. Like Paolo, I do think that Usain will continue his dominance. But that you brought that up, now I could start. I wouldn't. I don't know if I could say I wouldn't be surprised, but I could see Gatlin maybe taking advantage of Usain's maybe slow starts that he tends to have. As incredible as he is at recovering from them.
Yeah, I mean, and Usain won't be great forever. Like, I feel like this is the time where he's just built to lose. Like, it may be a combination of overconfidence, because he's a very cocky fellow, and a combination of just age getting to him. Because, like I said, you can see that his body's starting to deteriorate. So I think that Gatlin's going to take advantage of that. He's hungry. He wants to beat Bolt, because he's never beat Bolt in an Olympic final. And he just wants to take care of business, because if you beat the best and the fastest man in the world, then that says something to you. That's even more important than winning the medal. Like, he'll probably win the gold too, but just winning against the best is like probably the greatest feeling, especially being a competitor and someone that actually did track in high school. Like, I did the 100. I did the 400. I didn't do the 100, because that's for like the real fast people. But I respect anybody that does that type of stuff, because it's tough. Like, you go to these meets and you go to these different competitions, and you got people that are fast, and you don't understand how fast these people really are, especially those players in Texas, because those sprinters are way faster than the sprinters that we got in our state in Oklahoma. Like, you think you're kind of quick, but you see those runners, you're like, wow, like, these people are like 2 or 3 seconds faster than you.
Yeah. I mean, I have never competed. Playing basketball in high school and throughout my younger life, I was always told, when it's not basketball season, I've always told a good sport to go to is track and field, to try to continue to keep up the endurance.
Yeah.
And something I still never ended up picking up, but I do believe it is pretty impressive. And I actually have a friend who did sprinting in high school, and he won a bunch of medals. Sadly enough, his sprinting career in high school got a little shorted, because he actually got hit by a car, which is sad, but he's okay. He didn't get seriously hurt. He just had a little bit of a surgery, but it is. But right back after it, he's still. And I had never seen him before, so as fast as he is, I can only imagine what he once was before and the conditioning that he had to go through. Quick shout out to my friend Jay, but that is a really impressive sport to be a part of.
And then the last topic we're going to talk about, and this is something that kind of goes hand in hand with what we just said about age maybe becoming a factor, and if a player will be done as far as in the Olympics, is Michael Phelps. Will Michael Phelps become the oldest swimmer ever to win an individual gold medal?
So it's between him and Ryan Lochte. I mean, both of them are really good, and they've had really good showings. Past couple swim meets and stuff and things like that. I mean, I was a swimmer in high school, so I know how tough it is to cut time and when you're swimming. I mean, it's pretty much I guess I could say the same difficulty as it is when you're running track. You know, like you work hours and hours on end to shave off like a second or half a second. And so, I mean, I feel like Michael Phelps and Ryan Lochte, I mean, they're getting up there in age, but I feel like the age that they're at now, 30, 31, 32, I think are they around that age. But I mean, I think that's the kind of cutoff age for their prime. But I mean, we still have to go see in the Olympics how they perform. But I do think that one of them will win a gold medal. I mean, I think Michael Phelps has the higher probability to do it, but I mean, Ryan Lochte's not a bad choice either.
I would agree, with both your points. I believe that, yeah, I would say if there was to be one person that might get in the way, it would be fellow USA swimmer Ryan Lochte. But we're talking about, will he be, what is it? He to be the first one, the oldest Olympian, is it?
Oldest swimmer to win an individual gold.
Oldest, yeah, right. I mean, the amount of meets that they have, if we're having this conversation, I mean, yeah, there's plenty of younger kids younger adults that will probably have a really good shot at beating him. But I mean, to make this this thing a reality, I mean, all he has to do is win one, right? He doesn't have to pull off, something. I mean, to win a gold is absolutely amazing in itself. But something like we were talking about earlier with Simone, where she's talked about being possibly winning maybe 4 or 5 or even 6 medals. I mean, all he has to do is win one, right? And he'll get it.
Yeah,
he'll get at least one.
Yeah, he's already the most decorated Olympian ever with 18 gold medals, which is crazy.
Something is crazy.
Like I would be cool with winning 1 medal, but winning 18 gold medals, like that's an impressive feat. Like I think at this point he just wants to be there and then win one maybe. Like he don't even care. In my opinion, I don't think he cares about really just winning multiple medals like he did in his prime years. Because when in 2008 in Beijing was probably the most impressive thing I've ever seen. Like I was like, this man is amazing. Like he's winning gold medals left and right. Like I wish I was skilled enough to participate in the Olympics and win a gold medal and also win the most of any Olympian that year.
That number was, but you said his total is what, 18?
18 gold medals he has, yeah.
You think he wears all those at one time?
I don't know. That's not even counting his, silver and bronze medals he probably got.
Yeah, right.
Which is crazy to me.
That's insane. I can't even fathom one athlete having that many medals. Go ahead, Paolo.
I mean, I don't know what he's going to be doing with the silver and bronze medals, but I bet he's just eating off of them because, I mean, he's got too many gold medals, too. I mean, those are nothing to him. He'd probably eat some chips, clean something off with the gold medal or bronze medal or whatever. I mean, that's what I'd be doing if I had that many medals.
So who's going to be on the Wheaties box this year? You think it's Simone? Without a shadow of doubt, you think there's someone else that's going to steal the Wheaties box fame from her?
What if they pull what 2K12 did and put a few athletes on there? What did 2K12 have? What was it? 3 athletes? It was Griffin, Rose, and Durant.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see them put multiple athletes from multiple sports. Let's see them put a Simone in Phelps wins, and then Team USA or something like that. For the basketball or whoever they decide to choose. It's just amazing.
Yeah, so my closing statements I want to get from both of you guys. What Olympic sport that we haven't covered that you guys are going to be watching during this run?
Well, we covered basketball. I mean, I think tennis is a part of the Summer Olympics, correct? I think if right, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I
yeah,
might
yeah,
check out the
yeah,
tennis
yeah,
one
yeah,
because
yeah. Tennis is
yeah,
because I remember Venus and Serena are participating. So that's the reason why I know because I definitely don't watch the men's. I mean, because there really is no American that on the men's side that's actually in it. So it's gonna be definitely the women's stuff. So that's
yeah.
interesting.
I am gonna be keeping an eye out on that. I mean, I wasn't really interested in tennis for a while, but I watched a game or two in college, and then I was like, well, this is actually pretty interesting to watch now. So, especially when they get a little bit more intense. So that's definitely one thing I'll keep my eye out for.
Um, for me, yeah, it's probably gonna be soccer. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna be watching when I can because I'm gonna be on vacation next week, and that's when all the fun is. For the majority of it, there is a week after, I believe. But when I get the chance, though, I'm gonna get some of my men's basketball in. But definitely, I'm gonna try to catch a few of the soccer games because
Yeah.
I'm a big soccer fan, so that should be fun.
Yeah, it's funny because you said that because I was about to say the same thing. Like soccer is definitely something that it's gonna be real interesting to watch, and I think that more people should be watching it because I know when the World Cup, Women's World Cup was happening. I mean, it was incredible. Like I was like, I know everybody and their mama was watching
Yeah.
that stuff. Like especially the final. Like we wanted the U.S. to reclaim that championship because they didn't win it the previous World Cup before that, and and I remember the World Cup team that won it with Mia Hamm and stuff was incredible. Like that's the team I vividly remember when I was a kid. Like I was like Mia Hamm is awesome. Like I didn't know really hardly any other players besides her, but that player was like the star and the one that was kind of leading the charge. And I was like, okay, like it brings me back to my childhood days. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch this because we're witnessing history right here.
Thanks. Yeah. Whatever, whether it's soccer, or swimming or the tennis, whatever any of the sports are, it is the coolest. It is probably the coolest sporting thing. Regardless of big events, people may favor towards the Super Bowl or the NBA Finals, or some people the World Series. But this has to be the coolest sporting event, and it can't be close because these are the best athletes of every sport from 206 countries, I believe. So
Yeah,
that's insane. Like it's just gonna be fireworks.
that's why NBC got the
So,
coverage for this because they were like, like you'd be an idiot not to get the coverage. That's why they should have everything live. Like I hate it when the last Olympics happened, where if you didn't have the certain channels, then you couldn't watch all the live events, and you had to wait till later on from the broadcast. And I'm like, why would you wait to show events that people already know the winners of? Like I mean, like I said, we
yeah.
got social media now. You should be broadcasting it live like all the rest of us instead of having delayed telecasts and stuff.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly. Almost like like tape delay back in the day when they used to have for other sports, especially for like events like the NBA Finals. Like I can only imagine being around at that time and the NBA Finals being on tape delay and me knowing that someone across the country knows the result and I'm just like I have to know what happens. So definitely it's cool the way we've come with technology where everything can be broadcasted and a lot of these, yeah, we know a lot of the big names, but a lot of these young athletes, especially like we're talking now with Simone, how she's an upcoming athlete, but we know of her because we're in the U.S. But hopefully, just not in terms of us, rooting for the U.S. or whichever country we may be rooting for. It's exciting to see a lot of these young athletes, come up on a big stage and make a name for himself, especially on a stage like this. So definitely, we'll probably be seeing a few big names. We'll be hearing on Sports Center, so and so upset them. So this should be really fun.
All right, so I appreciate all you guys that were tuning in to our live broadcast, and anyone that watches our replay. I appreciate it. We love you, and we hope that you tune in next week where we go back to our regular scheduled programming and talk about our various topics like football, basketball, all the other sports that we talk about. And also, I want you guys to follow my guys on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, and I want you guys to also tell your Twitter handles, Facebook handles, whatever you got to plug, so we get these people to know where they can find you at.
All right. Well, I don't have a Twitter handle anymore. But just look me up on Facebook. I'm always open. Yeah.
Yeah, what's your Facebook handle so people can find you?
Uh, just my regular name, Paulo Pagnolino, man.
All right, Brandon.
Um, on Facebook, same name, regular name, Brandon Desma. Twitter, you could follow me at BZEZ2, and Instagram, it's BZEZ dot two. Not the word dot, but like decimal point, like a period.
All right, and my Facebook is you can find me at Cam Perry, and also my Twitter is CP Scott 1 if you want to find me on there. No, that's my Instagram is CP Scott 1. I forgot to change it. And then also if you guys have any questions, just email me at thecamperry18@gmail.com, and I'll gladly answer your question. Peace and God bless.
Peace.
Take care, everybody. See you in 2 weeks because I'm going on vacation.
All right, you too, man.
All right, how was it?